Let me introduce you to Mark Madrid. Mark Madrid is an incredible entrepreneur and human being. And when you will get to know him a little bit better in the next couple of minutes, you will see why I'm so passionate about working with him and doing an expert session with you now, Mark, in the next couple of minutes. And yeah, Mark, please introduce yourself super short because then I want to directly go into our first question. The stage is yours.
Absolutely. Well, what you need to know about me, first of all, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for your time. So it starts with gratitude. I'm just a kid from the farm, a farming community in the Texas Panhandle, but I've had the honor of starting my career on Wall Street and leading national nonprofits, working with academia, and most recently as a head official for the U.S. Small Business Administration, where I ran entrepreneurial development, cybersecurity, and the Office of Rural Affairs. And now, after 32 years, I've launched my own business, finally my own boss after being that Swiss Army knife. And that's what brings me here to you today. So I'm super excited that you're here. Thank you very much.
That's absolutely wonderful, Mark. And let's start right away. What does freedom mean for you?
Well, Freedom, I come to you from Puerto Rico. And this month in April, I had two of my major philanthropic efforts. And I was like, how am I going to do that? One related to college students. I take a group of college students every year on a corporate trip. I've been doing it for 11 years. So I take them to a city. It's about a $35,000 event. And this happens every year. And so just a few days ago, I was in Las Vegas for that boot camp. And then just a few days later, I'm the chair of a mastermind entrepreneurship group, and we're retreating here in Puerto Rico, 15 of us. So as the chair, it's not really a retreat for me quite yet, but that's freedom. How am I able to devote almost 3/4 of a month to philanthropic endeavors and run my business at the same time? But you know what? With technology, with the right people, uh, with the right trust, because trust is the most valuable currency that we could ever have, it is possible. And as I look out there to that beautiful golf course over here, I'm like, how did this kid from the farm get here? And it is just being an overcomer. And so that's freedom that I can do this, I can be here with you and on under the radar, run my business at the same time. Because as you well know, we never truly have a day off. So if we're never truly going to have a day off, then love what you do. Do what you love, and you always love what you do. And that's basically where I am today. It doesn't mean I don't have issues going on, fires that I need to address. They're all here. But when you have this freedom and peace, then it's all good. And it's possible to do everything at one time. You don't have to make a decision like, I'm going to choose to have a good time and it's an opportunity cost because I'm neglecting something else. It can all be concurrent. We call it conditions of satisfaction. So it's a beautiful place to be, but it took a while to get here.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So the interesting part is, Mark, they always call it overnight success. And then I started as an entrepreneur 25 years ago, and then people see that I live in Sardinia in Italy, and I travel where I want to and not where I need to go. And then people call it, oh, the overnight success. Yes, 25 years in the making, overnight success. Thank you.
And that's what we have in common. I mean, because sometimes people do get that impression if they see the imagery in the background. And for a while, I tried to rationalize or explain it. I don't have to explain it anymore. If you truly know me, you know that I've been working on this for 32 years.
Yeah.
If you don't truly know me, then that's okay. Because in this happy place, I have to take care of my priorities. And prioritization is very, very important, not to be a yes person to all. I think some of us have been there. I've certainly been there, and it was not very productive at all or profitable.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And don't forget, in not even a week from now, we are sitting here in Sardinia together. So you're switching from a sunny island to a sunny island or from a sunny location to a sunny location. So I'm really looking forward to see you in the mastermind here in Sardinia. So actually, when I started a couple of minutes ago, I didn't even mention it. So for people who are with us the first time, what you see here as a background, yes, that's a virtual background, but that's actually what I see outside of my office window here. Because I used to live in Austria, where I grew up, built my first couple of companies, destroyed my first couple of companies, or COVID destroyed some of them. can name it how you want it. But I just decided how I want to build my life at a certain point. And I decided that entrepreneurship is the tool I'm going to use to achieve the type of life I want to have and I'm striving for, and what I really want to do and how I want to have it. And one of the reasons I really wanted to have this conversation with you, Mark, is you know both worlds. So I was never in the corporate space. I was never in a corporation. I never worked for a company. I became an entrepreneur when I was still in school, and that's my whole business journey. So when you compare these two different worlds, the enterprise or the corporate world, and now the entrepreneurial world, what's the difference when you think about the possibility of freedom or what type of freedom you can experience for your life?
That's a great question. I'm super fortunate and blessed that I've had the experiences of working in corporate America on Wall Street with academia, Stanford University, the Graduate School of Business there, the GSB, work leading local nonprofits and national nonprofits, and then entrepreneurship. I was never free in corporate America. There was always something where I had to not second guess myself, but there was a protocol that was always present, especially in senior executive positions or in the C-suite myself. When I was a CEO, I would have to report to a board. Those board dynamics, right? In terms of being the chief executive officer, whether in the in the nonprofit space as the CEO or executive director, in the corporate America in terms of shareholder wealth and reporting to that board, there was always somebody to report to. Even at the SBA, of course, what an honor to be appointed by the president and vice president to run that office at the SBA. Not only did I have that $750 million budget to run, but I reported to the cabinet official, the administrator of the SBA, as a direct report. So what I would say is I'm super excited and grateful because I got mad for a while. I'm like, shouldn't I already be able to call the shots and in different dimensions, different forums? Uh, but now I realize I can give myself grace for all those years because I needed that training and those guidelines to be where I am today.
Yeah,
But today, I'm liberated. I trust myself to make my own decisions. If I fail fast and keep going. You know,
yeah,
sometimes when you make a decision and you trust your heart and you have a track record, or you listen to wise counsel or an inner trust circle or mentors, then you can make a decision and never look back. What I mean is, if something happens and it was some bad outcomes, I'm not going to go back and doubt my decision. It was still a good decision because I trusted my heart, but something good didn't come out of it. That's okay. And that's been a breakthrough for me because sometimes in the past I would go back and say, why did you make that decision? So there was doubting myself. And then I stayed there for a while and it really impeded progress. Whereas now I was like, no, you trusted that decision. You made it for a reason and you resolved not to look back. Something good did not happen. So what are you going to do about it? Now, there's moments in time when I say acknowledgement is very, very important. You can't like slip it under the rug. And sometimes there's an inner core that comes in and you have to feel it for a moment longer. And that's because there's something in here that's happening that you need to address
yeah.
and or acknowledge. So when that happens, I really have to sit myself down, separate, recalibrate, and say what's really going on. Is this one of those things that is going to be with you for a while that you've overcome or you've forgiven forces or people or people, and you need to acknowledge for a little bit and realize that it's meaningfully present and then move forward. So
That's amazing.
it's a super place to be where I am today,
Yeah,
but a
yeah,
little bit of explanation on both sides.
yeah. No, congratulations. That's really amazing. Talking about these decisions you mentioned multiple times now, um, have you been in situations as an entrepreneur where you really needed to rethink a decision because you figured out, oh my God, this costs so much freedom that it's not worth the revenue or the growth or the reward on the other hand side?
Well, I love disco balls on the dance floor, and I love shiny disco balls in terms of, opportunities.
Yeah.
And I've definitely made a decision where I thought, wow, I really want that shiny disco ball for whatever reason, whether it's the margins, whether it's the profit, whether it's the influence. And then when I secured the disco ball, then it really drowned me of my energy. And energy is a precious commodity. I'm low on sleep, but high on commitment. But whatever sleep I have to covet, even if it's 4 or 5 hours a night, right? So when I obtained that particular situation, and I'm talking about a huge investment, an investment in technology, where I thought that I needed to build something, right? I learned real quick. By the time I had built it, it was already obsolete.
Okay.
All right. And so I had it and I invested in it and I invested my sweat equity too, and it wasn't worth it.
Ah,
It wasn't
okay.
worth it at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now this is the bottom line is with AI, what I've decided, I'm not going to build unless I had unlimited resources and a lot of human capital. I choose not to build something because it's already built. So how can I leverage it in terms of a strategic partnership where I'm the face of something, I white label, and I've chosen, and this is going to be a big announcement in the next few days, but I've chosen an AI governance space that I'm going into that is
That's
based on philosophy.
that's
So
incredible.
philosophy cannot be adapt or change if there's a
Yeah.
base philosophy that's been present for thousands of years. So
Yeah.
I'm going officially into the AI governance space.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Congratulations. And I'm looking forward to this announcement. And I know there is a lot coming behind the scenes, what we cannot talk about yet. So yeah, so this decisions, what you just mentioned, is I mean, we ended up in a situation where technology is changing so fast with AI, with all these technologies coming out every single day, that we really need to rethink on how we make sometimes decisions to keep our freedom, because a lot of people worked very hard as entrepreneurs, then they had some kind of freedom, and now things are changing so fast that either their business model is not valid anymore, or like the experience you just shared with us, yeah, that you build something, but you are not first or not fast enough with the technology, and some big player already built it and launched it and threw billions in marketing dollars onto it. And then, of course, it's a hard part to compete as a small business owner or as a solopreneur, especially in these areas. And we do a lot of consulting when it comes to grants that we help other business owners get grants for their technology development. And so we get about 3 to 5, sometimes 10 business ideas or technologies um, presented per day, which is incredible. But on the other hand side, I also see a big difference from the mindset perspective, how they used to build technology even 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ago, or how you could build technology nowadays. And when you think back about 10 years, you or I, we probably needed to have 5, 10, 50 developers to launch a software, to launch a technology. Now, yesterday, I had a conversation with an entrepreneur, and he said, yeah, you know what? I have one very sophisticated person who is my whole development team, and we do not write any code and we do not invent anything ourselves anymore. But this one person is able to leverage AI, and AI is writing code, and AI is building technology for them. And that's the way on how they can launch technology very, very fast. And I mean, when I heard this story, I was blown away, because this entrepreneur literally launched 3 apps within the last 24 hours. Yeah, with just one person, and they leverage AI. And they are doing this on a constant basis. Um, with all
Yeah,
this,
I'd like to add
yeah,
to that.
please, please.
How many of you are launching AI endeavors of some sort? Okay, got a few there. Okay, perfect. How many want to? Okay. What I would do is I would budget some undistracted time, and it's talking about freedom, where you just take some undistracted time, and I'll give you an example, and just go off with AI, your favorite tool. And I suggest 30 minutes of one free-flowing innovation period. And I always say, please, please, AI is not your master, but your servant, right? So it's got to be, like I always say, my AI is grounded in these boots and blue collar DNA. And so go to town. I'll give you an example. The other day I was talking about quantum and the anticipation of some industry segments that I want to be a part of related to data centers and data warehouses, which is America's current infrastructure project, right?
Mm.
So I was saying, how can I vault and create some sort of widget that's in the quantum era? And I'm talking about, maybe 3 to 5 years from now. What positions me as the subject matter expert or supply chain manufacturer of a widget down the road in rural America 3 years from now? So we started prompting. I said, Mark, let your mind go. Don't think about what you have to do. Don't look at the phone unless you're doing the audio notes to AI, which is what I'm doing in this case with ChatGPT. Business, of course, the highest version. And then I would throw in some curveballs like, remember, my favorite disco song is this. My favorite scripture is this. My favorite speech was this one, copy and paste. My favorite, business schools are this ones. Remember, I grew up on the farm. And then when it gets all that multitude of data plus your history, what comes out sometimes it's like, okay, that's like utopia land. But sometimes what has come out of that has been such a treasure that I've taken a couple of components and applied it in my current business life. And then what I do is I have a special folder where I send that information. I classify it as, a priority A, B, or C parking lots. And so that keeps me organized, and I have a widget that I'm considering 3 years from now in the era of quantum. And that's an example that I want to promote to you. If there's one takeaway, it would be that go on an undistracted run with AI, but make sure you classify the chat and save it for later. And then, categorize it with other ideas that you have, because I never want you to lose your ideation capabilities, especially in this AI quantum AGI era.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. You mentioned something which is, in my opinion, very important, the speed on how fast technology is evolving, or speed of decision making, even speed of failure. How fast can I figure out, okay, that's not the right path, or that's not the right way on how I can do that. So people who know me a little bit is I'm a passionate mountain biker. So I just love to be in nature, and that's how I basically step away from the entrepreneurial hustle, stress, intense speed, where I'm really on my bike in nature alone most of the time, because that's just immediately getting my brain free, resetting me, not just from a mental perspective, but also from a physical perspective. And that's, by the way, also one of the reasons I love to live in Sardinia so much, because Sardinia has a completely different mindset, or the culture is very, very different than compared to my home country from Austria, where I'm coming from. Because, by the way, we Austrians, we invented complaining, and our entrepreneurial mindset is, let's say, compared to the US mindset in an entrepreneurial space, not that sophisticated or not that bold, if we want to call it that way. I saw you, Nicole. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And first of all, when I came to the US to make business, just the mindset, but also the speed of, okay, just test something. Maybe it works. If it don't work, just pivot, get up again, and test something new. So this speed of testing failure, do something new, learn from your failures is just incredible. But on the other hand side, what I really enjoy from a personal side here, that I really can step out of this entrepreneurial run very, very fast, And this being said, I'm running 5 companies at the moment, and all of them are led remote. So 2 are in the US, the other 3 are in Europe. Um, how are you doing that, Mark? So how are you making sure that the speed of the entrepreneurial world, the corporate world, is not catching up to you, or basically how do you protect your own freedom when this happens?
Oh yeah, it's called Resort Pass and Staycation. That's what I figured out that I needed to do. So I live in Austin, Texas, and so my favorite hotel there is the Fairmont. So when I need to get away, literally, I don't need to get away to another city. I need to get away 15 minutes and either get a day pass or a room for one night. When I do that, I take an empty luggage and I just put the most important things that I'm going to need for me to take a break. And so I love it. I play like I plike like I'm on vacation. The cool thing is I don't have to be there for 4 or 5 days. That's where I trap myself. I'm like, this is not long enough. I'm like, I just need to go and to the pool and I need to rent the day bed and I need to have a room upstairs and that's all I need.
Yeah,
That's all I need.
yeah,
And so I really encourage you to figure out what is that recalibration moment that doesn't have to be very complex. I call it life's simple pleasures. For me as well, I love going to get a McDonald's ice cream cone or a Dairy Queen dip cone or a blizzard. I mean,
yeah.
it's so simple, but I can count on that satisfaction, the conditions of satisfaction, and it's going to make me peaceful and happy. What is that for you? Now, I have long-term happiness too, like here in Puerto Rico for 4 days and Sardinia for 9 days. But if I need an immediate triage, resort pass, day pass, the pool.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I needed to learn that. I really had a very hard time as an entrepreneur doing that because nobody told me. I did not learn it. I was the first person in my family who became an entrepreneur. And I don't know how the others in this room got into entrepreneurship, but normally we are not taught on how we do that because I grew up with the standard program of the middle class means, okay, you go to school, then you go to university, then you're going to hire in a big corporation, then you're making career over there. At 65, you're going to retire, but you have a house and a car and you have 2 kids. And that's basically the life what my family had, or basically my adults and my grandparents had. But that was never the right thing for me because that was, to be honest, unfreaking boring. Unfreaking boring for me personally. Because already the starting point was, oh my God, why should I do 45 years the same stuff in the same company for other people I would never talk to if I would not need to talk to them because that's my boss or that's the boss of my boss or whatever. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I grew up with Catholic guilt. So,
yeah.
I mean, if I took some time off, I'm like, you should be working. And I grew up with an incredible work ethic of my father. Lost him in 2020. I never thought that man would die, and we lost him to COVID, but he taught me an unrelenting work ethic. So when I was enjoying myself, up to like 7 years ago, I always thought I should be doing something. I should be working. I've let that go. And that's why my company is called Breakthrough Mavens.
Yeah.
That was my breakthrough. I want you to break through. You only have one earthly life, and so you got to enjoy the moment. You got to enjoy the moment. And it's never too late to start.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mark, how important is or was a coach or a mentor for your entrepreneurial journey in your own life?
Huge. I again grew up in the farming community, didn't know anything. I ended up on Wall Street was my first career job
Yeah.
outside of college. I didn't have any mentorship. I thought you got yourself here, but WTF, like these projects are humongous and you're responsible as an internal management consultant. So I did trading floor, I did digitization of securities, evaluation of international risk and control policy, no mentorship. I had a couple of nervous breakdowns. Nobody knew about it. So when I discovered mentorship in my mid 30s, changed my life. And it started with Nina Vaca, the first Latina entrepreneur to uh, surpass $1 billion in combined aggregate revenue. When I
And
saw this
she was
woman,
your first coach and mentor?
she was one of my first. Yeah, she
Amazing.
was.
How did you pull that one off, and how could you afford somebody like her?
Well, listen, I mean, it's important to always treat people like you want to be treated. So I got to know her sister, Monica Vaca. And so I learned of Nina when we were in nonprofit leadership together. We invited her as our signature speaker. But Nina Vaca, Nina, V as in victory, ACA. All she is that awesome entrepreneur. She's an Iron Man, a triathlete, a mother of four, looks like a million billion bucks, and is always super respectful, energized. She's another one that's short on sleep but high on commitment. So anyhow, it started there with she knew that I treated her sister like family, and that's where it all started in 2009. Now she's not only my life mentor, but one of my best friends. And
Oh,
so
amazing.
it literally changed my life. Everything was accelerated. Another lesson here, I know we're short here about to transition, is when you need help, ask, even at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
That has been a breakthrough for me. It's like somebody's going to be a subject matter expert. You might think you're pretty good, but there's somebody better. And to have that humility and to be able to build relationships with your credibility that you already have, and to find the right mentor or coach or guide or counsel is transformative.
Yeah.
Right after this, I have something with some Hero Club members, and then I have a call with an economic development coach, and we're talking about the revitalization of rural America, where the rubber meets the road, where there's energy, water, resources, and what we're talking about is that infrastructure project of data centers and data warehouses, but doing it in a responsible way because rural America is rising and say we don't want them anymore. And so that's an inflection point right there, an inflection point of opportunity, not crisis. That's the way we view things around here.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. So I totally relate to this story, because when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. And stupidly enough, I did not even know that somebody like a coach or a mentor is around. Again, nobody told me. And I had no idea when I started my first business at the age of 18 years. And so the first 10 years, I was just failing forward. And I tried something, I failed. I tried something, I failed. I tried something, I failed. Fortunate enough, I was too stubborn to give up, and I just kept going. And at some
Yeah.
point, okay, I got some traction, and then I figured it out. And that was actually also how I started with mentoring and coaching other entrepreneurs, because back then I was thinking, okay, when I have the track record or when I have a certain amount of success, then I just want to support other entrepreneurs on how to grow and scale their company without losing their freedom, um, because I did not had it when I started my entrepreneurship journey. And that's how I started about 10 years ago with that. And that's also just a reminder from the invitation what we heard before. So please feel free to take advantage of this short call with me. I give you the link in the chat again, and I want to help other entrepreneurs as much as possible. And we want to support you guys have more freedom and experience a better and cooler life. So, Mark, time is flying by. That was
Yes.
amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you all. Appreciate it.
And
Please reach out to me if you want to connect with me. You can do it on LinkedIn, send me a direct message. And I love Stefan and what you're doing. Our partnership means the world to me because of what you're made of, Stefan. So thanks for having us here. Look
thank you
forward to
so
the other
much, Mark. It
conversation.
was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And we see us soon in the other room. And we are going to continue with our next topic, and it's with a fireside chat. But before we jump to the next one, please give a huge thank you one more time to Mark. You can do it directly with your camera on, thumbs up, or you can do it virtually. So
Thank you.
please show how amazing this was, what Mark shared with you over the last 30 minutes.
I
Awesome.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you.